to see you today, the Bill Michaels Podcast, and we are glad you are with us. Yeah, thank you very much. For those that are behind the microphone, we are live at the Wagon Wheel, and it's good to be back today on a Tuesday. Thanks so much. That's enough. It sounds like there's like 1,000 people here, but actually there's about 5. So. That being said, we are glad you were with us. Thanks so much for hanging out today on the Bill Michaels Podcast. And we are brought to you by our good friends, as you see, from Bud Light. Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the Bill Michaels Podcast, and also our friends at Bud Light Seltzer as well. Thanks to them for being a part of the program. And we got a lot to get to today. There's plenty of things to talk about. First of all, we're going to talk about some Aaron Rodgers, and I've got an opinion. I know that Brian Gutekunst has spoken. I know that Matt LaFleur has spoken. I know that Mark Murphy has spoken. It's pretty much a consensus in Green Bay, and we're going to get into all of that coming up here momentarily. Also, if you want to talk a little bit about a comparison, it was brought up to me over the weekend, and I had to pause for a minute. It depends on how you rate quarterbacks. But the comparison was that Ben Roethlisberger is a better quarterback. And I said, come on, look at the numbers and such. And one of the things that was, I'll get into that comparison, but just stay tuned. Okay, stay tuned for that. Then, how about last night? You had fans ejected because they yelled at the king. King James didn't like what he heard. So he said, fans. Now, he didn't specifically say, fans, you got to go. But you can't yell at the king. And they booted him. So we'll talk about that. Also, the St. Louis Cardinals get Arenado. And in my opinion, they are now the front runner of the National League Central. We'll get into that discussion. What do we got? We'll talk some Bucks today. The defense of the three-point shooting, and it seems to be the bugaboo. It seems to be we talk about it and have talked about it now for years, okay, under Coach Budenholzer. We'll get into that discussion as well. I got to remind you, we're brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Bud Light Seltzer, also our friends at Quick Trip. Stop into your local Quick Trip, grab anything. It's the pothole pizza. You can get the fried chicken. You can get the sandwiches, hot and cold meals, take home, heat and eats, whatever it happens to be. Quick Trip has got you covered. They're a terrific business. Began right here in our own backyard in Wisconsin, and they've branched out there throughout the upper Midwest. So for those of you listening to us in that particular area, whether it's La Crosse to Milwaukee to Eau Claire to Minneapolis down into Des Moines, Iowa, whatever it happens to be, stop in your local Quick Trip and say hello and tell them we sent you. So, by the way, Jeff, Wisco Muskie, how are we looking? You got also Daniel, Chris Phineas, our good buddy Chris Phineas, watching the program today. He is over on our friends at Periscope. You can find us on all the platforms. You can find us on Facebook, the Bill Michaels Show over on Facebook. You can find us and look for the blue check mark. You can find us on Twitter. You can find me on Twitch. I've got 5 followers on Twitch, and I got to grow that. But the YouTube channel, just simply go to YouTube, The Bill Michaels Show on YouTube, and please click like and subscribe. And I put this out on my Facebook page. We're trying to get to 20,000 followers on the Facebook page and 2,000 subscribers on Twitter, or excuse me, on YouTube. And it has been tremendous. I want to start out the show today by simply saying thank you. Okay. Between you, me, and the fence post, we're that close. We're that close. I'll tell you what's going on. I'm hoping to find out later today because I stepped away and there's so many things happening. And you know what happens when you step away and you have a business and you have change of name and you have image and you have all these other things going on? You know what you end up with? A lot of lawyers. You got tax attorneys. You've got labor lawyers. You've got people setting up corporations. When you start your own business and run your own project, it's just different. So there's just a lot going on. So I got to sign stuff. As soon as I sign stuff, you're going to be the first to know. I promise you. I promise. I will say this, and I got to keep my commitments. Our buddy Dave Carney at WKTY in La Crosse. I've been going on pretty regularly, about weekly, with Dave. My buddy Dave, he's a great guy. And if you're out in that area, I encourage you to listen to him. He's really, really good. But I was on with Dave last week. We were talking about the Packers game and obviously starting to break down a little bit of the Super Bowl. And I had told Dave, I said, Dave, the minute it's all signed and it's all done, and I have an announcement to make, I'll go on your program. But I will pre-promote that I'm going to Dave. I'm going to make an announcement, and we're going to come right back here, and we'll do it. So if you're following me on any of these platforms, just stay tuned. Stay tuned. Jeff, how we looking? Stacy, yeah. Stacy, how we looking? Love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. So there's a lot to get to today. We got a lot of things going on. Douglas wants to start talking some baseball. Chris and Cindy, our buddy Chris is out driving a truck. I think he's coming to my Super Bowl party this weekend. I'm not sure, but he's down in San Antonio, Texas. Chris, you the man. Austin listening to us in Virginia. Jeffrey saying hi as well. If you are outside of, say, the 5-state area, okay? If you're outside of Wisconsin, if you're outside of Minnesota, if you're outside of Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, if you're outside of those areas, let us know where you're watching the program from today. Okay? There you go. All right. Aaron Rodgers. The rumors are the Rams came a-calling and said, hey, because Matthew Stafford, as we know, is on the move. He's going out there basically swapping quarterbacks and some additional players in cash. And Matthew Stafford heading out to L.A., he's going to be with the Rams. Makes the Rams, in my opinion, substantially better. And then Jared Goff coming to Detroit. All right, that being said, they called, or apparently somebody called, or somewhere somebody said something about something, and suddenly, next thing you know, Aaron Rodgers' name pops up. The Green Bay Packers, hello, and it's the Rams, and they're saying, would you consider giving us Aaron Rodgers in a trade? How would you like Jared Goff? And thank God Brian Gutekunst didn't say a damn thing. He said, not interested. Not interested for a couple of reasons. One is Jared Goff, in my opinion, he's an average quarterback. You're trading away what will be the reigning MVP after Saturday night for an average quarterback to start in front of Jordan Love, who is a below average quarterback. Now, Jordan Love, he may end up being all that in a bag of chips, okay, before it's all said and done. But you get the sense that he's not ready. We talked about this the other day when I had Chuck Freeman on. When we saw Aaron Rodgers at practice, when he first got there, back in the day, you're like, wow, this guy's good, man. This guy can hit it. Then he runs a scout team, kicking ass. He's knowledge. He's learning. Brett's not going to help him, so he's paying attention to what Brett does, and he's kind of going, maybe there's some things there I don't want to do. But he's learning, and I mean, he got it. You could tell. Jordan Love, a little bit lost, not ready. Daniel listening to us in Lake Geneva. Lynn from La Crosse. Lynn, you woman. Jasmine, love you, man. Jasmine Martinez saying howdy. Our friend Nancy saying howdy as well. Angela saying can't wait to hear the news. Okay. And so there you have it. Following on Twitch from New Lenox, Illinois, just next down there to Joliet. That's Martin. Martin, you the man. But when it comes to Aaron Rodgers, now this is what I would do. Okay? See if you agree or disagree. I would call Aaron up, Brian Gutekunst. Hey, hey, phone rings. First of all, Aaron's probably sitting at home and he's like, it's Brian Gutekunst calling. Yeah, not happening. I can answer that call. It's going to take a couple more phone calls for him to really get me. Okay? So he calls. And finally, he does answer. He's, Aaron, hey, I know you're pissed at me. I chose Jordan Love. I didn't get you a wide receiver. I traded away that other draft choice. We could have really bolstered our linebacking core. We could have got you some help. That being said, can we bury the hatchet? Short of putting it right there, hatchet wound in my forehead. So, Aaron, we want to talk to you. We know you've got some average pay. And you know that we have some salary cap issues coming up, right? Salary cap's going to go down. You're going to be making a buttload of money. Why don't we work together here? What if I were to tell you, for the bargain right now, Aaron, why don't we bolster that bottom pay and give you 4 years? Sound good? 4 years? That'll put you 41, 42 years old, something like that, not bad. That'll put you on the cusp of maybe the year after year after year contract if you're still healthy enough to do it. But let's do 4 years. And by the way, Jordan Love, he's gone. He's a fig Newton in my imagination. He's gone. Okay, we'll develop him, and maybe we will, maybe we won't, and then we'll figure out quarterback play down the. But Aaron, I'm going to push all the chips to the middle of the table. We're going to make sure that you get enough talent around you that's going to help. I know you like Mike Pettin and his speeches and the way he handled himself, and he was an upfront guy and he was honest and stuff. And maybe he is getting the shaft, maybe he's not. I don't know. Okay. Single over the top coverage on that last play before half. Maybe that was the nail in his coffin. Okay, whatever. But we shoved him down Matt LaFleur's throat because he had former head coaching experience, and Matt LaFleur appreciated that. But now Matt LaFleur's got his arms around the organization, and he's ready to move on. All except for those dumbass calls just before the end of the game in which he's going to give the ball back to Tom Brady and not give you the opportunity to put in the end zone. Other than that, he's pretty much got this, right? Okay, good. Why don't we give you a contract extension? You give us a little bit of wiggle. We can give you some additional talent. We'll give you some additional money. We'll make this thing work down the road. How about that? And Jordan Love, he'll go away. He'll go away. We know you like Tim Boyle, and maybe we find somebody else in the draft or we pick up a veteran along the way, but maybe we do that. What do you say? What do you say, buddy? What do you say? What do you say, pal? And then maybe Aaron Rodgers signs a 4-year deal. If that's the way it goes down, I'd be happy with that. Because I really believe in today's day and age, the way quarterbacks like Brady, like Breeze, even Manning, going back to the years that he had the surgery just before the end of his career, these quarterbacks have been able to play. And when Manning and when Brady broke the mold of being able to win a Super Bowl after the age of 30, 35 years old, my question is, why not Aaron Rodgers? And I saw some statistics the other day about his NFC Championship record. Okay. Matt LaFleur took the ball out of his hands. I think Rodgers didn't have his best game, but played a good game against Tampa Bay. The defense had given the ball up given the drives up a couple of times and didn't overwhelmingly help out what Rodgers was capable of doing. But I also think to myself that Rodgers turned the ball over, Aaron Jones turned the ball over, but the defense got it back for you. And you weren't able to do anything with it a couple of times. Now, whether that was Rodgers or whether that was not, this is what we talked about. When this team got down and they really tried to take Devontae Adams out of the mix, who else do you have? It never shined more brightly for the need of a really true number 2 wide receiver than it did in that NFC Championship game, and that it did in that game against Tampa Bay the first time. Okay? Also, without David Bakhtiari, you need some additional line depth. Okay? So, I would say you go all in. You get Rodgers. You're going to have Funchess. Don't forget, he's going to be there. You'll have Funchess. You're going to have maybe another veteran, maybe another draftee wide receiver. You're going to have an emerging Marquez Valdes-Scantling, and then you wait and see what else happens via free agency and try to re-sign some of your own guys. But you bolster that defense, and also you remind yourself, what do we have to do to make this defense better? Still need a linebacker. I like Barnes and I like Kamal Martin, but you still need another guy that's going to punch you right in the freaking mouth. Preston Smith, Zadarius Smith, solid. Didn't have the same statistical season that he had last year. Rashawn Gary started to come on. Montravius Adams, get the hell out of here. You would have loved to have seen him live up to the hype, but just never came close. Never came close. You need additional beef up front with Kenny Clark. That's evident because the team that beat your ass was the team that beat you in the trenches. That's the way you're going to win football games. I keep saying it and saying it and saying it. And as much as I want to put Band-Aids in the secondary and say, you know what, the secondary is really good, they're going to help out the front. It's crap. It's crap. You win games in the trenches. If you don't have an offensive line that can fend off a pass rush and keep your quarterback upright and mobile, you're going to lose a ball game. And if you don't have a defense that can do that and get after a quarterback and consistently put pressure on him, you're going to lose football games. When you come up against more physical teams, you're going to lose football games. And we saw that. This team is going to consistently win anywhere from 11 to 13 games a season. Consistently. But it's in the NFC Championship game as to whether or not they're going to get to a Super Bowl. It's that easy. Now, the unfairness to Aaron Rodgers when it comes to being in a Super Bowl, the NFC Championship games. You go back to the 2014 game, okay, against Seattle. Come on. That Rodgers had a really good game. A really good game. Playing banged up. And they lost that game. They lost that game because Micah Hyde didn't know where to be on a 2-point conversion. They lost that game because Clay Matthews put himself out on a serious goal line stand. You had Julius Pepper saying, get down, get down, get down. Wide open field. It's a pick six. Or at least deep into Seattle territory. And Julius Pepper's like, go down. Go down. Why? No idea, but he did. So you've got that. In addition to that, you have got the infamous Bostic. After being screamed at, don't touch the ball, don't touch the ball, don't touch the ball. He goes up and grabs it anyway. You know, so you take a lot of, and then Mike McCarthy for 2 straight series in the third quarter took his foot off the gas and went 3 and out and 3 and out, and just poor play calling in that particular situation. So any one of those go the Packers' way, and the Packers are in a Super Bowl. That was not Aaron Rodgers' fault. Okay? That's one. Then you go the year that they played Atlanta. They had no freaking business being there. They got there because of Aaron Rodgers. They had no business being there that year. They weren't the second best team in the NFC. He kind of willed them to it. They shouldn't have beat Dallas, but they did. He kind of willed them to it. They had no business being there. And let's be honest. Do you really think that Aaron Rodgers not playing great was what cost them last year against San Francisco? If you think that, I don't know how you're able to see. I don't know how you clear your eyes when your head is that far up your ass. Because you can't see the forest through the trees. Because they had no business being there. Defensively, they couldn't stop the run. It didn't matter if Aaron Rodgers went and put up 40 points. It didn't matter. San Francisco was going to score 50 because they could just hold on to the ball. They had everybody from Kittle to Mostert, and they were running wild. They concentrated on Kittle. Mostert was gone. Concentrated on Mostert, Kittle, wide receivers, Garoppolo, whatever it happened to be, they were gone. Just couldn't stop them. Defensively, they weren't that good. Okay? More defensive failures in the postseason than they have been offensive in Aaron Rodgers' fail in the postseason. It wasn't Aaron Rodgers that turned the ball over. It was Aaron Jones. Aaron Rodgers threw the one pick. I'll give you that. But didn't have a bad day at the office. So the argument as to whether or not Aaron Rodgers is good in the postseason, it's kind of a crap argument. Now, I had it brought up to me over the weekend. Said, hey, Bill, Ben Roethlisberger's a better quarterback. And I statistically, you look at it and you go, okay, wait a minute. It's not even close. And then you look, think about this, since Ben Roethlisberger got there, they have not had a record under 500. They have 4 seasons at 8-8. Ben Roethlisberger was drafted in 2004, became the starter. In 2003, they were 6-10. 4 times since 2004, they've been 8-8. But they've never had a record under 500, and he's taken them to not 1, not 2, but 3 Super Bowls, and they've won 2. What does that say about Ben Roethlisberger? Is he a better quarterback? I also look at it and think, they've had a really solid defense, too. You go from T.J. Watt all the way back to Troy Polamalu. I mean, they've had leaders, those guys that are just going to bust your ass defensively, good defensive fronts. So I can't say that Ben Roethlisberger is a better quarterback, but they've had better teams. Maybe they've been better coached. And they probably'd have more if it wasn't for the fact that they ran into New England a few times. You know, New England being the Lombardi Packers of modern day era. Maybe he'd have even more. Think about that. Gunner in Jim Falls, Wisconsin, saying hi. Gunner, you the man. Darlene listening to us in Mosinee. What else do we got? Kathy says my life is back now in balance. Kathy, that's awesome to hear. Greensboro, North Carolina. Eric, you're the man. That's the farthest one away. So, San Antonio is pretty far with our buddy Chris down there watching. Chino Sleepy says I would have pulled the trigger and traded Rodgers. Here you go. There's no way I'm trading away the reigning MVP. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? There's no way. By the way, we are live. We're at the Wagon Wheel. And for those of you that don't know where the Wagon Wheel is, it is actually the bar that's inside my home. And once we're allowed to open things back up, and I do want to do some more of these, we're going to actually have some more people in. Okay, which I know makes you happy. Thank you very much. Yes, thank you. All right, shut the hell up. I know it makes you happy, but we're going to have some people in, I think. If you want to join us on Thursday, we are going to be live from Stenny's. Yeah, not here, but it's Stenny's. We're going to be at Stenny's. Nice. We're going to be at Stenny's in Walker's Point coming up on Thursday at noon at 2nd and National in Milwaukee down in Walker's Point. Going to be there and really looking forward to it. We're going to do lunch down there. So come on down. You can get the best wings you've ever put in your grill. They've got pizzas. They've got wraps. They've got really, really good food. It's premature for a fish fry because it's Thursday, not Friday. But Michael's garlic cheese bread. Yeah. Shut the hell up. The Bill Michaels garlic. Shut the hell up. Thank you. The Bill Michaels garlic cheese bread is going to be flowing tomorrow, or on Thursday, I should say. So we're looking forward to that. So should be a lot of fun. So that's coming up on Thursday. Reminder: don't forget to please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just find the Bill Michaels Show. Continue to like and follow over on Facebook as well. And we appreciate you hanging out with us. By all means, this segment brought to you by our friends at Quick Trip. Quick Trip. The best place you're ever going to go to when it comes to service stations and convenience stores and such. So stop in and say hi to them. Okay, I want to move on. I want to get to what happened last night in the association down in Atlanta. You had a couple sitting courtside, okay? They've been courtside for a while. And basically what happened, you cannot scream a profanity at an NBA player. We have become so sensitive in today's society, especially the NBA players. You can't do it. You can't yell at an NBA player. It can't happen. You can scream things at football players, baseball players, but when you're close to them, it hurts their feelings. Okay? I get dropping F-bombs. Yeah, come on. It's kind of classless, It just is. But dropping F-bombs at players on the court when you're sitting courtside, that's going to get you into trouble most of the time. And in today's day and age, especially when they're finally starting to allow... Oh, by the way, breaking news. Breaking news. I'm bringing it to you here. The Fiserv Forum going to start allowing 25% worth of fans. Did you know that? Fiserv Forum getting word today that Fiserv Forum and the Milwaukee Bucks going to start allowing 25% worth of fans in the stands. There you go. Fans in the stands at Fiserv. Now, if you're going there, you got to remember, if you're going to an NBA game, one, you have to wear the mask. Okay? You can't take it off. You can't be sitting courtside, pull it down to yell at players, and then put it back up. Can't do that. You take the mask off, you're done. If you're sitting there eating and drinking, you can pull the mask down. But once you're done, got to put it back up. All right? That's why you're going to get ejected. Then if you start dropping F-bombs on King James, that'll get you ejected as well. So apparently this couple sitting courtside, this woman's husband, had kind of been jawing back and forth with LeBron. And LeBron says something to this guy. They don't specifically get into what was said. Okay? There's what she said, what LeBron had kind of stated, because there's a couple other things about this that really bother me. So she gets up and says, "Don't you effing yell at my husband." Had she not dropped the F-bomb, chances are she's going to be okay, right? Chances are. She drops the F-bomb, though. But LeBron, according to her, says, "Sit the F down, you effing B." I don't care what somebody said to you. You are a professional athlete. You can't go there. I hope somebody got the video of this, because I want to see if he said that. I want to see if Adam Silver has enough balls to fine him or sit him, because you can't do that either. If you don't want people saying it to you, you can't have people, you can't be saying it to people. I will give you LeBron credit. He said after the game that he doesn't believe that the fans should have been ejected. Now, easier said than done. He could have said to security, "No, don't throw him out. Just set him down," because he's got that kind of power, right? He didn't do that. And here's where I have a real big problem. This is where I have a big problem. The big problem I have is this, right? Nobody asked him about it after the game. This is what pisses me off about the Zoom calls, and I hope once we've all been vaccinated, whatever you believe regarding the coronavirus, once we get back to a sense of normalcy, I want to see, even if it's guys sitting at a table, I want to see media actually raise their hand or talk again and ask questions, rather than just taking people on Zoom and knowing that if you don't ask the proper question, the PR people are going to say, "Well, you're not going to get questions on Zoom anymore." Nobody asked him about it. How do you not ask him about it? It was an easy win, no big deal. He had a good game. But the incident of the game was kicking the fans out for dropping an F-bomb on him, when she's claiming, and other people must have heard it because there's only 25% worth of fans in the stands, right? We can hear everything damn near during a game. Coaches screaming and yelling and things like that and setting up offenses and defenses and such, but you can't hear LeBron say, "Sit the F down, you effing B." So if he said that, why wasn't he questioned? You know why? Media, maybe the four-letter network, no cojones to ask that kind of a question. You just got to ask it. You may not get the answer you want, but you got to ask the question, right? How do you not ask that? How do you not say, "LeBron, what happened over there? What did she say to you? What did he say to you? What did you say to them? We saw the interaction. What did you say to them?" See what he says. Why do we treat LeBron James different than anybody else? He's a terrific player. He has rings. They show Brady screaming at guys on the sideline. He's got a multitude of rings, considered the best player ever to even breathe life into a football stadium by many. They show him, they go after him, right? Why can't you ask LeBron James a legitimate question? I don't know. Just a thought. Anyway, Andrew says, "Make me a Captain and Coke." I got some Captain over there. You see, top shelf Captain over there. I do have some Coke in the fridge, by the way. At night, usually when finally the dust is settled from the day, I've really gotten into the air fry of Tyson makes these air fried nuggets and strips, right? Chicken. And if you get the original stuff, I think only Woodman's carries it, but you get the original buffalo wing sauce. Throw a little bit of hot sauce in there to make it a little extra spicy. You put it in one of those poi ramekin type of cups, okay? Load it up. And then you bake the air fried chicken. All right? It's already been air fried. All you got to do is heat your oven, bake it, and then you cut it up and you put it in a dipping sauce. Oh, with fork and knife, right? I sit down here at the bar and I make myself either one of two things. Well, three things, actually. Bud Light, beers always go down. When they're cold, right there. Right there, baby. Right there. Do a Bud Light. Or I do enjoy There's a couple of different beers I like. I like some ciders every now and then. Cider Boys. Why people don't carry Cider Boys in the state of Wisconsin all over the bars, I have no idea, because it's born and raised right here in Stevens Point, Wisconsin. Why don't we talk about that more? Thirdly, I do like ciders. I've got Little King's Cream Ale. If you don't know what that is, you can get that around here now. There are 7-ounce beers. They're about that big. Same amount of alcohol in them as a full beer, and you can kill them like a shot. Oh, they're dangerous. I had them growing up. Then over here, I don't know if you can see it, but I'm a Bullet Bourbon fan. I've got a lot of bourbon on top. I got into the Bullet Bourbon, okay? So you take 2 shots of Bullet Bourbon. You take a couple of shakes of orange bitters, about 4 or 5, all right? Then, this is one of the key ingredients. There's a Wisconsin maple syrup. You can find it at many different grocery stores. It's not your simple, squeeze thing. It's a glass bottle, little glass bottle, about $7. It's made in Lodi, Wisconsin, by the way. You pour a little bit of that, maybe a finger or 2 of that into your glass, okay? And then, now I go down to the Elegant Farmer down in McGuanago, but you can go and pick this stuff up anywhere. I go buy real apple cider. Pour that in there. In a big glass, too. I don't have one of them sitting here right now. But anyway, into a bigger glass, like a full shaker, right? Shake it up, pour it in. Oh. Then you got the cigar down here. There's nothing better. That's why you come to the Wagon Wheel, man. That's why you come to the Wagon Wheel. Love it down here. What is here? The A-Bomb says the Rumpelmans needs to be in the freezer or the fridge at least. It is the Rumpelmans. Yes, I see that. But there's 2 other bottles in the fridge. I don't have enough space. It's a side-by-side. It's not a commercial freezer or commercial cooler, right? I got ice on one side. I got beer and other things on the other side, beer and liquors. There's everything from rum chata in there. There's some of the silver tequila that's in there. There's Rumpelmans that's in there. There you go. Kathy, I'm sorry about getting you all fired up. For drinking. And the A-Bomb says, oh, stuck in Lodi again. I love that. Let's see here. Peter says, are the Packers all in for the next 2 years, trading up in free agents? They had better be. They better be. You're bringing in another defensive. Think about this. You let Mike Pettin go. This is the last defensive coordinator Aaron Rodgers most likely is going to see in his career in Green Bay. You got to get this right? You got to get it right. You cannot screw this up. What else do we have? Lodi, home of Susie the Duck. Who is Susie the Duck? I don't know who Susie the Duck is. Consider me a poor student of Lodi. There you go. So what else do we have for you? You can hear. Thank you. What the hell? Oh. Weird things happen here. You know what? This is a podcast. You can have anything go on the podcast, right? But there's some things you can't show, right? So we'll just leave it at that. What else? What is this? To the top of the silver square looking thing. That is, Kyle, an old ass stereo. However, it's a surround sound, old Sony stereo. And the sound on that thing is fantastic. And the only thing I use it for is the television broadcast and either like the Alexa or an old iPod that has about 5,000 songs on it. That's it. That's it. You're pointing out some old stuff, man. That's fine. I'm good with that. I like it. Like it a lot. Let's get on. Let's move on a little bit. Arenado going to the Cardinals. The Cardinals, in my opinion, have become the favorite of the National League Central. And I'll tell you this. I think, first of all, Arenado really does solidify that team. And remember, Yadier Molina, I should say, still a free agent. What is he, 38, I think? 38 years old? 38 years old, still a free agent. He's kind of the leader of that team. So they could end up bringing him back if they choose to do so. I don't think they're going to, but the Cardinals have enough pitching and a pretty good infield. They can get the job done. I think they're going to be a good baseball team. I think they're right there, and they have told their fan base that, hey, because up until really that point, what was the total number? I think it was like $3.5–4 million had been spent totally in the National League Central. Nobody was buying anybody. I mean, the Reds and Bauer have not come to an agreement. The Cubs are letting players go. They're making trades. The Brewers aren't doing anything, right? Pittsburgh, that's Pittsburgh. So nobody's doing. Do you know that Pittsburgh, going into the 2022 season right now, on their books, have about $20 million after this year, and they're only sitting at like what are they sitting at right now? Pittsburgh, $37.5 million right now. $37.5 million right now. Pittsburgh's not doing anything. Brewers, technically, they're about 50, but technically they're 76.7 million of the season, depending on what they end up doing with arbitrations and all that kind of stuff. So the Brewers at least have a little bit of money invested, but they haven't had this many teams below 50 million since I think they said 2013, going back some years. But there's a lot of consternation right now with the start of the baseball season. Major League Baseball Players Association last night rejecting the players' proposal to push the start of the season back, because right now out for the Cactus League in Arizona, they're not allowing fans in. There's still high numbers out there regarding COVID. They want to push it back, and the Players Association is like, no, we're not doing this. We're not going to get into a bunch of double headers. And they also said no to the expanded playoffs. That's something that the owners are trying to use as a bargaining chip once this season culminates, because once this season culminates, it's going to get ugly. I mean, ugly between the owners and the players. Chances are you may not even have baseball in 2022. It's going to get that ugly. I hope I'm wrong. But everything is pointing to just hunkering down, digging in your heels, and it doesn't matter what they send us. Screw it. That's what it looks like right now. That's the reason the players want their money right now. They want to be paid. They want the games. They don't want the expanded playoffs because they don't want to give the money back to the owners. They don't want to have additional teams making it and such. They just want it to stay as is, because everything else is going to be used as bargaining chips going into the 2021-2022 season and the collective bargaining agreement. So right now, nothing. They're all holding out. Brewers are going to have a pretty good pitching staff. They're that's my buddy Elmo barking at me. He's trying to get up the stairs, and he might not be able to right now. So we'll keep the podcast going, and hopefully he just settles down. But the Brewers are going to have a pretty good pitching staff. Their offense, depending on what Arcia, if he starts out hot, has a good season, great. If he doesn't, he doesn't. That's kind of the way his career has gone. You're going to get Lorenzo Cain back. You're still going to be good in the outfield. You'll be pretty good up the middle when it comes to your defense. I think you're going to be okay offensively. You're not going to be the same juggernaut you were a few years back. But pitching staff-wise, I still feel good about. I do. I don't feel great. It's not like they've got a bunch of number two starters and solid back end of the bullpen guys. I think it's going to be, again, by committee, and they're pretty good at pushing all of those buttons. But I really believe that they're going to be a pretty good team. They're going to be a pretty good team. So I'm excited for Brewers baseball this year. And I'm just excited to see baseball back. I think eventually you will see fans in the stands, but you're going to have to see fans in the stands all over, even though the NBA originally said, hey, if one can't do it, none of them can do it. Then you started thinking, okay, wait a minute. It's revenue. We'll start taking some of that money and helping some of these teams out. I think you're going to see the same thing specifically regarding Brewers baseball, because the Brewers get a majority of their money from the gate. So anything you can do to help the Brewers get money from the gate, they're probably going to allow. So you would assume, with the way things are right now in the city of Milwaukee, especially if they're starting to let 20–25% in people-wise into the Fiserv Forum, you're going to start seeing people head into Brewers games. So I'm pretty excited about that. But it's a long way to go. Long way to go. By the way, you are right, Tom. Tom said he heard that the Molina contract is almost done or close to done. I believe that Molina, like I said, I believe they would re-sign him. They just weren't going to bring him back because had they kept him, they would have ended up owing him a lot more money. I think they're going to work out a deal and let him come back for another season. You just got to, much like you saw the way the Brewers managed Ryan Braun in his last year, that's the way you got to manage Molina because he can't go every day like he used to. So you're right. What else do we got for you? One other thing I wanted to get to, and I wanted to talk some Bucks basketball. Bucks snapped their losing streak last night. They get a nice win. I'll tell you what, Drew Holiday, I've had a chance to watch him now, and I haven't watched all of his games, but I've probably watched out of, 20, maybe 10, 12 games of Bucks basketball where I've really sat down and made it a destination to view. I just haven't gotten as into it this season as I had last year. And maybe it's because of the fans. I don't know. But I really do try to sit down and pay attention to what's going on via the Milwaukee Bucks. And he is a player. Drew Holiday's a player. He is, and I don't mean to sit here and demean Bledsoe by any stretch of the imagination, but Holiday, they're just trying to put it all together. They haven't been able to do that yet. But Holiday, you can see his skill set. He can go both hands to the basket. He can play defense, lockdown defense. He knows when there's help. He's very good with communication. You can see why he can be a real asset once you get to the postseason, and it really becomes somewhat of a half-court game. You can see why his numbers go up in the postseason. So with the Bucks snapping that 2-game losing streak, I'm extremely happy about that, obviously. But I think that, but Holiday has been a breath of fresh air. Now, what I was watching last night was still every time somebody chucks up a three and it goes in, where's the Bucks' three-point defense? They have never been a big defensive team. What drives me crazy is they pack the paint and they don't get out to the perimeter. You've got some of the biggest guys that are good rim protectors in Giannis and in Lopez sitting down in the paint. Why in the hell are people not getting out to the perimeter to at least get a hand in the face of the shooter? But you're seeing threes be chucked up at a record rate. What was it? Was Houston the other night that almost put up was it 28 or 27, something like that, to either tie or break the Bucks record for putting up threes? So you're seeing threes put up at a significant rate in the NBA. And anytime one goes in, everybody says, well, their defense sucks. Bucks defense, when it comes to defending the three, does suck. I agree with that. But, and I'm not making excuses, but you're seeing threes shot by even big men at a record pace. So the defense on the three has to become prevalent. But remember, there's more three-point shooters out there now than there ever were before because most coaches are saying analytically, take the shot. Chuck it up. Chuck it up. Let's go. Because the more you miss or the more you makes up for the misses, the lower shooting percentage, it makes up for that. As opposed to going to the higher percentage two-shot for the mid-range jumper. So the in-close basket, easy. The three-point shot, easy. The mid-range jumper has pretty much fallen by the wayside because of it. Got to say hi to some other people. Hey, by the way, we are also brought to you by our friends at JL Tire Service. I was out there the other day. They are in Johnson Creek. 2 locations out in that area, but in Johnson Creek. Lyle is one of the best people you're ever going to want to meet. Just go out and see them if you're on the road. If you're over the road, they do trailer and truck repair as well for big rigs and such. But if you're looking for tires, they have great deals, great rebates going on right now. All-weather tires. God knows the weather in Wisconsin has really kind of sucked and throughout the upper Midwest, but check out our buddy Lyle and the whole gang at J&L Tire Service right off of 94, the Johnson Creek exit. It's just north of the highway, right there by Highway Harry's and the Days Inn and such. You can see it right there on the corner. Terrific place, terrific people. Go and say hi to our gang out there at J&L Tire Service. Speaking of great people, Jeff and his wife Alicia, Stoley's Hog Alley, also right off of 94. That's out there in Oconomowoc in that area, and right there at right next to Upper Nabobin. And it's a terrific place. Not only is it a great biker bar, but it's also a great family bar. Terrific fish fries on the weekends, great prices. And during the summertime, it is one of a ride destination, so to speak. If you're out on a motorcycle, it's a must stop. Go get your picture taken in the big chair. They've got tents outside, but it's a really, really good place inside. And believe it or not, their food is really good. You just drive past it and you're like, no, stop in. Say hi to Jeff, say hi to Alicia, and they have got tremendous, tremendous food. Say hi to our friends at Stoley's Hog Alley out there in Oconomowoc. All right, what else do we got for you? Let's get say hi to a few people. Brett, thoughts on Wisconsin basketball? I still think the way that Greg Gard finished the season last year is the reason. One, they've been ranked and they've gotten a lot of respect. And two, is the reason I think they're going to continually get better throughout the season. They've had a couple of rough spots, I admit, and shooting has been an issue, but I still think that Greg Gard's going to put it all together. I don't know as far as how deep they're going to go into the NCAA tournament. I think they're a Sweet 16 team at least, or a team that very good. They get on a hot streak shooting wise, and they can win it all because they still have solid defense. But they need to be consistent, better consistent from the field, but more so beyond the arc because their consistency beyond the arc. And I'll tell you this: doesn't it drive you crazy? They just. I love the fact that they pass the ball. It's almost like watching the show, the movie Hoosiers, right? We're going to pass the ball 5 times before anybody takes a shot. There are times where guys will get it and they're wide open and you're screaming at the television, shoot it, just take the shot. And they don't because they work the basketball and they work the basketball and they work the basketball. And there's really not a selfish player on that team, but there are times it's maddening because guys don't take the shot. But I still think they're a very good basketball team. Jeff says, can you lose 6 games in conference and still deserve to be in the tournament? You can. Like I said, because they've received a lot of respect, they've hit a bad patch. I'll agree with that. They've had some really clunkers of games, but their consistency down the stretch, in my opinion, is what is either going to make them or break them. Just like last year. Last year, they started off, you're like, whoa, wait a minute. What's going on here? And then all of a sudden, they started winning games and winning games and winning games. And they ended up winning the Big Ten. And I firmly believe had they gone into the Big Ten tournament, maybe they don't win it, but they probably end up in the finals or the semis. They go on to the NCAA tournament as one of the hottest teams in the country. I'm not giving up on Wisconsin basketball because I think they're that good. I just do. What else do we have? Tom says Big Ten solid this year, 110% agree. Our buddy Jim says looking good. You the man, Jimmy. What else do we have? This is from Brett, who says, what do you think of Super Bowl foods? You know what? Maybe we'll get into that coming up on Thursday when you get into Super Bowl foods and all. I'll be honest, it's so freaking overdone and overplayed. I mean, I could tell you what I'm serving at mine. Okay, every year, and I mentioned this the other day, for the Super Bowl, if the Packers are in the Super Bowl, I stay. If the Packers aren't, I usually fly out Saturday night. Our good buddy Mike Clemens has covered the game for so many years, and Mike has done a fantastic job. But I really like to be home to see the game on the big screen and to be able to, commercial-wise, play-wise, tape it, go back, rewind it, controversial things, whatever. I like to be able to watch that and go over that rather than looking at it from a 10,000-foot overview, sitting way the hell up in a stadium in a corner somewhere where it's very difficult to see the game. I like to see it at home. And for 10 years, maybe, I've had friends over. I have 3 big parties a year at my house. I have a Super Bowl party. I have an ugly sweater party, always the first weekend usually of December, maybe the second one of December at my house. And then I always have a summer party as well. So foods at Super Bowl. Let's start with that. This year, my buddy Craig from Wisconsin Harley-Davidson is a guy that has mastered the art of smoking on the Traeger grill, the meats and such. He does pork shoulder and ribs and stuff. Oh my God. It's better than almost any restaurant I've ever been to. It's fantastic. So he's doing that. But me, I'm going down to Robert's Specialty Meats. I'm getting, I think, like 10 pounds of ribs on a stick. I'm just going to throw them on a grill, warm them up, okay? And then I'm doing my spaghetti and meatballs. I've been doing that for a long time, and it's just such a process to do it. And to make it for like 30 or 40 people, that's a lot. It's $300, $400, $500 to put this thing together because the meatballs are a pound, so they're about that big, all right? So you got to remember, you're feeding 30, 40 people. Yeah, not everybody's going to take meatballs and not everybody's going to take just spaghetti. So what you try to do is try to make about 30 meatballs that are a pound. Well, think of that, 30 pounds. You're going to use about 25 pounds of ground beef. Do the math, how much that costs. And then you do the special sauce. You make it all from scratch and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, So I'm doing that. Spaghetti and meatballs, ribs on a stick. My girlfriend is doing stuffed jalapeno poppers, ground Italian sausage with cream cheese jalapeno poppers. Got some friends bringing bacon wrapped water chestnuts, a big bucket of those in barbecue sauce. We've got the pork shoulders. We've got another friend of ours that is bringing oh God, she's like unbelievable when it comes to desserts, and they're doing cheesecakes and chocolate covered peanut butter and all this kind of stuff. So they're doing all that. And then you got to figure everybody brings an app. Then you're going to have the taco dip, and you're going to have the veggie platter, and you're going to have everybody has the caprese skewers. So you have in the balsamic, you have tomatoes and mozzarella and basil and stuff all shoved onto the skewer. So you got that to munch on, right? So there's going to be plenty. There's going to be plenty of stuff milling around the household for us to grub down on. But that's kind of a look at the party, you know. Paul, yes, spaghetti and meatballs it's been tradition because it started out it was like 10 people. You know, I can do 10 people. My uncle, we'll say, had a tremendous Italian restaurant in Cincinnati, Bellinopoli. Kind of the guy you call uncle, but not a family member, so to speak. But anyway, tremendous Italian restaurant. And before he had passed, he had given the recipe for spaghetti and meatballs to a few people in my family. Okay, now this restaurant, it was like 5-star Italian restaurant for umpteen years. And then he gave one of the recipes to my mother, who before she passed had given it to me. So I took it, tweaked it a little bit, and it's spectacular. So when I make this, the only way I know how to make it is like for the restaurant for 30 people. So that's the reason and I had to go, I think I went to Marshalls or Home Goods or something. I ended up finding an 7 or 8. I think it's a 7. I think it's a 7-gallon pot. It's like this big. It covers 3 burners on my stove. It's about this big. And that's where I make the sauce. And then I make the meatballs, and I put the meatballs into the sauce, and I let it sit for a day. And then there you go. So that's it. Should be good stuff. Looking forward to it. Got to say hi to our friends at Stenny's. We're going to be there coming up on Thursday. Thursday is going to be our appearance at Stenny's. Come on down. Stenny's, second and National Walker's Point. Everybody's going to be there, and we're really looking forward to this. We're going to do lunch. Come on down. The Bill Michaels garlic cheese bread, I'm sure, is going to be flowing. Best wings you ever want to put in your grill. We're going to have a good time. World famous Bloody Marys down there at Stenny's, so it's going to be a Bloody Mary day. Get a few wings, a little garlic cheese bread, sit back, relax, watch the podcast live and in person. And we'll say hi to you there. Our friends Joe and Ellen and the whole staff down there at Sloppy Joe, they're such good people. I can't say thank enough to them for being a part of the program. Also, I had mentioned Stoley's Hog Alley. Hey, by the way, I'm wearing the Social House shirt today. Dan Della up there on Lisbon Road in Menominee Falls, the Social House. Great people, great place. And that's the place that I've been telling you about when you go over there on Sundays. On Sunday mornings, if you buy a mixed drink, buy a Bloody Mary, buy a cocktail of any kind, free pancakes. And they just keep coming. I mean, they just put all these, about that size pancakes, just start stacking them up on plates and go over there and grub down. So free pancakes, good stuff from our friends over there at the Social House. And then maybe I'll see you sometime soon down at the Nice Ash, which is a terrific cigar lounge, entertainment on the weekends down there in Waukesha. And it's right there on Main Street. Such a fun place, such a good place to go. And I recommend you go in there, you sit down, you get your favorite cocktail, get yourself a good cigar, right? Music starts, I think it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, like 8 o'clock. Some good bands, some local bands. You get in there and then ask them if you're a spicy lover type of fan. They have popcorn down there that's made from a gourmet shop up the street in downtown Waukesha. It's this jalapeno popcorn. It will pucker your ass, but it's good. You got your beer, you got your cigar, and you got that popcorn, and you just sit there. Oh, perfect night. Listen to music, and if you get one of those big chairs up front by the windows, oh my God, you just sink into it. You're watching sports, you're listening to music. That's like up there with sex at that point, right? Okay, so enjoy yourself there as well. Enjoy yourself there as well. What else do we have for you before we get out of here today? Let's do this. Over on any of the platforms, if you want to look, you can hit me up. I will ask anything. We got about 5-10 minutes left to go. Ask anything because we'll get into all of this. Okay. I want to get into all of this. Got one here that, what do we have? No, I don't want to do that. Pucker, never heard that before. Okay, I got you. I like that. Chris says, killing it today. Good stuff. You know what? We always enjoy. That was not the key word, my friends. Just so you know. Not killing. Always enjoying it. And thank you. Okay. Done. Thank you. 4 people make a lot of noise. Oh, boy. Anyway, let's see here. John says the NBA beginning to become unwatchable just based on the number of threes being shot. It's become a boring game. It is, unless it's your team making them, and suddenly you're seeing them go on a run. I'll do that, right? When your team's making the threes, not a bad thing to witness. But when they're making the threes, yeah, and defense for the threes is not. It's not the fun thing to watch either, especially when you got guys that are just taking leaps and sticking a hand up and hoping for the best. You don't see defensive strategies beyond the arc very often, right? You don't see fast switch out. Guys don't work at defense. Some players do, and those are the ones that usually win the Defensive Player of the Year. Other guys, it's like a necessary evil. It's like, you know, when you're ready to go to school and you want to go see your friends, but your mom yells, "Oh, well, can you walk your sister?" Just go, crap. I don't want to walk her. She's slow. She's younger than me. Her friends are goofy. You know, her one friend, she's always got boogers. Yeah, I don't want to walk her to school. Okay. But you're still going to school. You're still going to see your friends, but you got to walk your sister to school. That sucks. That's the way some of these guys look at defense, right? They look at defense like yeah, I know, right? Thank you. They look at defense like it's defense is your younger sister's friends with the boogers hanging out. Nobody wants to be a part of it, but you got to walk her to school, so you might as well go ahead and do it. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. Anyway, and the crowd goes wild. Yes, thank you very much. This one is from Fred. Do the Packers pursue... Fred, where'd you go there real quick? We're getting a lot of them coming in. Do the Packers pursue a top-level free agent at any position, or does the cap restrict it? I think depending on who you bring back and who you let go is going to determine whether or not the cap actually restricts that. So that's a great question. I don't know. You have to take care of your own first and then see what you have left over, and it's too early to answer that question. I would hope so. You know, I mean, I hope that this team says, you know what, we're going all in. This is what we want. But I don't know if they're gonna really push all the chips into the middle of the table coming up this offseason. I just don't know. David says, where do I subscribe for the podcast? Great to see and hear you again, Bill. Been too long already. Okay. Numerous ways. First of all, like and follow the Facebook fan page, The Bill Michaels Show. Okay, like and follow it. You can find me over on The Bill Michaels Show over on YouTube. Please subscribe. Like the video, and please subscribe. I cannot say thanks enough to everybody that has been so supportive. Excuse me, that's part of the problem of doing live podcasts. Thanks to everybody that's been so supportive. Thanks to everybody that has been willing to reach out and say hello. And again, I promise you, this close. So once things break, mentioned before early on in the podcast, you got, when you've been doing this, I've been in this state since 1999. I have had a total, when it comes to not working in this state, a total of 90 days. Since 1999, a total of 90 days until I decided to take a step back. Okay. And when you do that, and you have a company, you have a brand, you have an image, you have all these different things, you have other things going on in your life, you spend more time chasing the legal side of things than you do actually working on yourself and what you need to get done. So a lot of changes in my life, a lot of things going on. But I promise you, we are this close, this close. That's why it is so it is so important to me that you, if you can at all, support the people that have supported me and supported us and supported the program and supported your and I ability to chat. Okay. Support our friends from Bud Light and Bud Light Seltzer. They're great people. They've been with me since 2000. 21 years we're going on together, you know? And it's not because people say, well, you didn't give the other ones a chance. No, we did. People said no. And I said, are you sure? And Budweiser and Bud Light and everybody came in. And now Dave Hawk, who is the CEO of Milwaukee Brewing, MK Brewing, Dave was at a rival high school down in Cincinnati. He got in touch with him. He said, hey, would you like to come over here with us? We want to take care of you. So I went to the others and I said, are you sure? And they said, no, we don't want you. I said, okay, great. So I've been with the people that took care of me for 21 years now. Great people. Bud Light Seltzer. Go to budlight.com, see all that they have to offer. Great people from all the different bars and restaurants. Quick Trip has been with me for a long, long time. Over 10 years. Over 10 years we've been together. Thanks to our friends at Quick Trip. Thanks to our friends at Sloppy Joe's. At Stenny's. My God, Stenny's has been with me forever. Ryan and Jerry and JoJo. I mean, just LJ, everybody down there. I'm leaving people out, and it sucks because I love everybody down there. But they've been with me forever. Hey, Sean at Epoxy Flooring Done Right. Go to epoxyflooringdoneright.com. He does it better than anybody. The next time I do one of these podcasts, I should do it down in my gym and show you the floor down there, because the floor down there that he did for me was fantastic. And they still do it year-round, by the way. They can do it in this weather. So go to epoxyflooringdoneright.com. That's epoxyflooringdoneright.com. John says, besides Facebook, again, John, go to YouTube, subscribe to YouTube channel, because we do these live. We do these videos live. I don't do a lot of podcasts when it comes to just audio. These things are live videos. Now, you can listen to them, but go to YouTube, subscribe, and like the YouTube channel, and it'll pop up for you. Andrew says, love you broadcasting from these many different locations. I discovered when I started buying all of this equipment, when I really wanted to get into this, it's an energy. First of all, it's an energizing venture. I really love the creativity, and I love the one-on-one that you and I can have. Okay. But secondly, the fact that I discovered I can take this anywhere, and all I need is an internet line or a good internet signal, and I can do this anywhere. So I love it. I think this is a fantastic way for you and I to communicate. And now, don't get me wrong, I love radio, and I love the romance of radio, and I love a scheduled radio broadcast, and that's, but I love doing this. This is a new creative way for you and I to chit chat. Okay, so I can't say thanks enough to all of you for paying attention. So it is what it is. So a couple of things before we get out of here. Remind you, one, going to be down at Stenny's Thursday at noon. If you are off, or if you're in the area and you want to come down for lunch, come on down for lunch. I'll be setting up down there about 10:30, 11 o'clock. The show goes on the air live at noon. We go from noon to about 1-ish. And we're going to have a terrific time. But the Bill Michaels garlic cheese bread is going to be flowing at Stenny's. And the best wings that you have ever wanted to stick in your grill will be available down there that day. We're going to have a great time. I don't know who's bartending. I don't know if Natalie's bartending that day or not, but we'll definitely let you know prior to the show. And again, if you can like and subscribe, we certainly appreciate it. Tom says, hey, get down to Racine. And I would love to get down to Racine. We got our friends from Budweiser working on many locations right now. So a couple of questions. Anything you want to fire at me, I will do my best to answer over the next 10 minutes. Okay? We're going to go to about 1:15-ish. So we always do these about an hour and 15 minutes. So about the next 10 minutes, anything you want to ask. Oh, by the way, don't forget, yes, I appreciate it. I'm on Twitch as well. I think I have 5 followers. I just started my Twitch account. I have 5 followers on Twitch. If you want to go to Twitch, you can download the app on your phone. You can watch it live. You can react and respond on Twitch. And on Twitch, everything comes up on my streaming podcast video here for me to see. So I may not be able to see and answer everyone, because we've already gotten a couple of hundred responses today, whether it's Periscope, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, all the different platforms that cover the show, that carry the show. But I do try to make sure I say hi to as many people as I possibly can. We got say hi to Fred, hi to Paul. Let's see here. Jeff from a little bit earlier. Chris who says we're killing it today. It's great. It's absolutely great. Um, Buck's Twitter wants Coach. What is your take? My response to that is, look, I never advocate for the firing of a coach. Okay, because I believe it's a lot of the times it's the guys. Basketball, a coach can have an immediate impact. A manager in baseball can have an immediate impact, but more so it's about the guys going to the plate, getting the job done. I've said that probably Budenholzer is on the hot seat because, by the way, that's my ringtone, the Monday Night Football theme. Budenholzer is on the hot seat, I believe, because of the faltering over the last couple of years. It's great to have the best record in the NBA, but if you can't ultimately reach the NBA Finals, it's kind of like Matt LaFleur in 13-3. He's brand new. He's really done something in Green Bay offensively that we haven't seen. Now he's got a chance to put his stamp on the organization with a new defensive coordinator. But between him and Brian Gutekunst, they have got to get the additional personnel to fill the holes that have become the weakest link. Kevin King, while good, was the weakest link. Defensive line next to Kenny Clark has been the weakest link. You look at what the offensive line went through against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you didn't really have a backup when it came to the tackles. Against mediocre teams, bad teams, teams that were slightly above average, you had enough to sustain, but you really missed Bakhtiari and a better trenches team in that game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Not only at the end of the season, but during the season as well, because they got owned. Okay, the pressure put on them by Jason Pierre-Paul, who's just faster and stronger coming from the outside, and Ndamukong Suh taking up a double team. They were just a more physical team. They had speedy linebackers as well. You know, that's how you get beat. Jim Leonard, would he be good for the Packers? Look, Patrick, and thank you so much because that's been asked numerous times. And Chad, you know what? Stay tuned. I'm gonna make an announcement on that as well, Chad. So hang on. Going to the Jim Leonard question. Jim Leonard, I don't think Jim Leonard would be a bad choice. I don't know what Jim Leonard would do as a D coordinator in the National Football League. We have seen him work, obviously, in college and what he's been able to get out of that defense. He's a guy that's played in. I like the fact that if you're going to go for a college coach, get a guy that's played in the NFL. Jim Leonard is not that far removed from actually studying film in the NFL. I think he would be a good asset to that. So if you want to go get Jim Leonard and interview him and you feel he's the guy for the job, go for it. Okay. If you feel that he's been out of the NFL too long, that's understandable. But I don't want to go after Jim Leonard just because he's a Wisconsinite. Okay. Every time something happens in Green Bay, you got to go after a Wisconsin guy. No. I said the same thing years ago when I was living in Cincinnati. Don't go after the Ohio State players. Don't go after their quarterbacks. They're not that good. Don't go after it just because they're sitting here in your own backyard. Cleveland, the same thing. Don't do that. Don't become enamored with what's in your backyard. Make sure you look at everybody and see how all their statistics and all their intangibles measure up, and then make your best educated decision. But I would certainly give Jim Leonard the opportunity to interview if he fits your system, if he fits the personnel you have, then by all means you call him. Chad, you said when are you going to be getting back to the Green Bay area? Prohibition, Great Cigar Lounge. First of all, Gary Ellerson and I years ago did a Q&A event at Prohibition. I love that place. We had a great time in the back area and then the upstairs. Both of them fantastic. As a matter of fact, I think I still have a membership there that I haven't used in a while. I got to get back up there, but I love Prohibition Cigar Bar up there. It's tremendous. And when I get into Green Bay, I promise you I will be back there. However, next Tuesday, a week from today, I'm going to be at the Ground Round in Neenah. More to come on that appearance, but we'll be there. Now, that's tentative. Depending on what happens in the next 24, 48 hours regarding other announcements. All right? I can't tell you much more than that, you know? But yes, I do want to get back to the cigar bar because I think it's fantastic. Do you think Matt LaFleur needs to give up his play calling per his presser yesterday? No. I hope he doesn't. Why? They've been successful. You've been really successful the last 2 years. Why all of a sudden now do you need to give up your play calling? Don't do that. Don't do that. Unless Nathaniel Hackett is really the brains behind the operation, don't do that. Because your play calling, your rhythm, what you've had, the relationship you've had with the quarterback, don't. This is like when Mike McCarthy was asked at the end of the 2014 NFC Championship game, why wasn't Clay Matthews on the field? And then he looked over and everybody left him hanging. I don't know. I have to look into that. He had no clue. Oh, you got to give up the play calling. No, you don't give up the play calling, Mike, because he ended up taking it back. That's not Mike's forte. And Mike's forte was not defense anyway. Okay? He probably should have gone to Clay Matthews and said after the game, what the hell did you take yourself out of the game for? You know? But he didn't know. And yeah, he kind of looked stupid, but I get it, man. You're an offensive coordinator. You're an offensive coach. You left that to Dom Capers and company. I asked Dom after the game what the hell was going on over there, because I was worried about getting my offense on track. I was more worried about those 2 craptastic drives we had in the third quarter where I took my damn foot off the gas. Ask me about that. Don't ask me about why Clay Matthews wasn't on the field. You know what I mean? There you have it. What else do we have here for you? Let's see here. You can ask anything. It doesn't have to be sports related. Ben says, do you have the excuse for kicking the field goal instead of going for it? No. Sucked. I think it's stupid. I think it's a poor decision. Craig says, any clue to the big announcement? I really want to, but it's one of those things where until your T's are crossed and your I's are dotted, it's better off just letting it sit, because if things, for whatever reason, when you have legal and everybody involved, when you have all that happening, anything can happen, right? I love radio. I've loved radio from the time I was in grade school. Okay. I used to, when I was a kid, going back to high school, and all my friends are listening to Top 40 or rock and roll. Okay. The majority of them, anyway. I was listening to sports talk. I couldn't wait. I had a summer job, and I would sit in the office of the summer job, and I would always have sports talk on. Talk radio. I love it. I think there's a romance to it. There's a connection. Think about this. Television, you sit down and you watch it. Okay? That's a destination. You're on your couch. You're in your living room. You're on a chair. Maybe you're sitting on a bar in a bar stool, whatever, but you're watching it. It's a visual context. Okay? Games, like in a bar, in a loud, crowded bar with music blaring, you can still watch television as a destination. You can still watch games, but you can't communicate. Okay? Radio is something that you take the time to listen to, no matter what it is you're doing, whether you're working, you're jogging, you're mowing the grass, you're driving to work, you're driving on vacation, you're sitting on the boat in the middle of a lake, you're in the shower, whatever it happens to be. Radio is something that's on in the background that captures your mind, it captures your imagination, it captures the romance. Think about some of the greatest calls in all of sports. They weren't television calls. In television, you let the picture do the talking. In radio, there's a romance to being able to describe the majestic shot, to being able to give you the build up to the moment, to actually bring you in, to actually have you lean towards a radio, to say, wait a minute, and you got to get that, you got to tilt your head. How many times have you done that? And then the moment, and you hear the crowd, whether it's the crack of the bat, or the 3, it's good, or the react, all of that, there's a romance to radio. And we're lucky in this state. We've got Euchre, we've got Larrabee, we've got Matt LePay, we've got Ted Davis. We're lucky in this state because we've got emotionally vested guys that do this, that paint a picture and give this to you. And whether it's invoking a thought, a conversation, a dialogue, or expressing an opinion, there's a romance to radio. I love radio. So yes, I want to be back. And yes, I hope to be working something out in the very near future. Figuring something out. Okay? That's it. So anyway. Gino says, should the Packers trade Aaron Rodgers away to the Cowboys for Dak Prescott? No. I've never thought Dak Prescott was that great, to be honest with you. Nope. Wouldn't do it. Wouldn't do it. Just my opinion, but no, I wouldn't do it. So, anyway. So that's it. Did you enjoy it? Thank you. Always good. Always good. Always good time and always good to have fun. You get 3, 4, 5 people. Thank you. We are going to be live at Steady's. Shut up. We're going to be live at Steady's coming up on Thursday at noon down at Walker's Point, 2nd and National. We hope to see you down there. It is going to be a fantastic time. The Bill Michaels Garlic Cheese Bread is going to be flowing. Don't know who's bartending, but whether it's Natalie or JoJo or Melissa or anybody else, we're going to have a great time. Brittany even going to have a great time down there. Come on down, enjoy some terrific wings, enjoy some Bill Michaels Garlic Cheese Bread. Thanks to our sponsors. Thanks to Quick Trip. Thanks to our friends over there at Bud Light. Bud Light, tremendous beer sponsor of the Bill Michaels Sports Talk Network and has been for a very, 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 very long time. And as always, give yourself a nice round of applause, right? Thank you very much. There you go. Time for us to go. Have a good one.